Hi, John Jesse with the Health Continuum here today. Just want to explain on our podcast, we're going to have three types of episodes for you. The first will be when we bring on experts helping us to try to better understand the issues of the day, the latest research, and to determine if it has any meaning or application for us. The second is I'll offer quick tips occasionally, something you can start doing today to improve your health or not. And then the third is what we're calling our success on the continuum, real people making real progress. And then you can learn from them and be inspired by them. And I'm so excited because we have a great first guest, a woman that I have great admiration and respect for. Welcome to the Health Continuum, Jyll Waters.
Thank you, John. I'm happy to be here with you.
I need to give you a little professional introduction here. So Jyll is a CPA, an MBA, a CGMA, a CCIFP. Jyll, I don't even know what half those are, but I do know you're a chief financial officer at Vancom Incorporated, and you have expertise in risk management, in finances, accounting, strategic planning, financial analysis. But that's not why you're here. You're here because of the movement you've made along the health continuum that I've personally been able to watch for quite a few years. In fact, Jyll, do you remember this?
Absolutely.
We were moving. Go ahead.
Yes, it's a treasure.
We were moving our bookcases, and I actually have the map right back here on my wall of this is the 50 climbs by bike in Utah. Holy smokes, all very steep hills. And we invited all of our biking friends. We have quite a few, and some of them came on some of the rides, but there was one tough lady who came on all 50 rides, and I think you have a map too. So a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was great. Yes, I was never stronger than when we were doing those hills. The best climbs in Utah.
The
Yes.
best climbs in Utah. So, Jyll, tonight, what we'd like you to do is to tell us about your journey of success on the continuum, your improvement in health and fitness over these years. And maybe you can begin with the beginning. Where did it begin? Can you identify an event in your life that started it?
Well, I think initially when health became at the forefront of my mind was shortly after I was first married, and I started to gain weight, and I started to wonder, what can I do about this? And I really didn't know anything about nutrition to speak of. And I had been active through my life. My family was very active, camping, hiking, had dance lessons, PE at school, all of those things. But now I had to come up with a plan to be active and to stay active and to learn about nutrition. So I read a few books which taught me about the macro and micronutrients and helped me to understand better, what I should be striving to do daily with my eating habits and with exercise. And I started walking. So I think that's one thing that you've mentioned a lot in your book as well is, walking is a great way to start and to continue throughout your life. And so I met friends walking, and I then as life continued, going to school and working, and now I was having babies and different life circumstances, I learned how to change what I could do to keep active. So through pregnancies, I did a lot of water aerobics, and I really enjoyed that. And it was something that worked well with being pregnant. I just felt uninhibited while I was in the water and exercising. Later, I started some Pilates classes, and that worked even while I was through pregnancies and really helped to make me strong. And I feel like when I was doing that, I had even my best deliveries because I felt really strong at those points. But I think the thing that really motivated me again at another stage in my life was my children and their needs. And I had a daughter who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I had extended family members who have been diagnosed with some autoimmune diseases. And I had some children suffering with mental illness issues. And then I myself was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disease. And so all of these things, um, motivated me to be healthy and to help my children be
Right.
healthy and active. And manage their diseases.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I talk about that in the book when there's a section on motivation and people looking for motivation all the wrong places a lot. But the greatest motivator in this life, I believe, is love, right? And
Right.
one of that is the love for all of those that you love and what you'll do for them. And I'm so glad that you were able to harness that love for your children to help you move along.
Yes, thank you. It it really has been a great motivating factor and brought me a lot of strength also by taking care of myself. I've been able to relieve stresses from working and family and these different challenges that our family members have had, and relieving that stress and gaining strength spiritually and mentally through exercise and through healthy eating choices and life choices has really helped.
Can you talk to us about maybe the reason for and identify some of your successes along the way, like this really worked, and maybe how you were able to make that work with the challenge? Can you think of any specifics that you could share with us?
Absolutely. I think the two main factors that have helped me to be successful are one, having goals, setting goals, and two, having fitness friends. The goals, you mentioned the 50 best hill climbs. That was my goal to complete that before I turned 51, so in my 50th year. And that was really a fun goal and something that I could include my family members in even if they weren't biking with me. My husband was our SAG driver several times on a lot of our rides.
I think that was an expensive venture because I remember he took my wife's brand new truck for the SAG, and I think you ended up getting one of those afterwards.
That's right. He had to get the same make and model, and yes. And we would plan things that he would enjoy. So we'd plan a weekend where we'd go to a place where I could ride one of the hills that was on our list of hills, and we'd find a boating adventure for him or a car show for him. So we'd rendezvous and do something like that. And we incorporated those hill climbs with some family vacations. So all the family was involved supporting me and having fun together.
Wow, that's a great strategy you've identified, Jill, where sometimes we think, oh, well, we got to walk the 5 miles both together, or oh, he doesn't want to do it, or she doesn't want to do it, or she doesn't want to ride bikes, and so we're just not going to do anything, or we'll just sit and watch TV. But it doesn't have to be that you're doing exactly the same thing. You can make it work together as a couple or as a family and still be kind of going your own path because you have a little bit different interests. Great,
That's right.
great strategy. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you. It's worked well for us and it's been enjoyable. And in fact, my husband even joined me on a cycling cruise just a few years ago. He actually started biking with me and we went on a cycling cruise through the Netherlands, biking daily. And he used an e-bike and that was great for him. It was enjoyable. Times change too. So at certain times he has joined me in the activity and other times we've just coordinated to rendezvous, which has been great.
So we all have struggles. Sometimes, people listen to you and say, oh, wow, I could never be like her. She's doing all of this stuff. I've just, wow, how can that happen? But you're just an ordinary person, just making your way through. You've had struggles. You still have struggles. Anything you want to talk to us about or share that might help other people?
Absolutely. I would say, first of all, I have had to learn to adapt my workouts or strategies within my workout to accommodate some of these struggles and mitigate against issues. So I mentioned the Hashimoto's disease. So my body doesn't regulate temperature change well. So when I'm exercising, I need to make certain that I'm dressing in layers and able to help my body adjust to different temperature changes while I'm exercising, for one example. Another example is I donated a kidney a couple of years ago to my niece, and that brought some changes physically for me that then I had to adapt my exercises for. It specifically made it difficult for me to ingest electrolytes while I was exercising. And so I needed a way to be able to still balance that, well, especially during the longer, more extreme adventures like the Rim to Rim at Grand Canyon or some long century bike rides. And so I learned that coconut water for electrolytes worked really well and didn't upset my system. And so it was just learning these things along the way. Some of it was trial and error and just making adjustments. Sometimes it's been my schedule I've had to adjust, and I've done different things with that. I think you mentioned in your book, some lunch workouts have worked well for me at times where I've been able to go do some weight training at lunch or something like that. But mornings are generally the best for me. That's when I can have my own free time and get my workout in before I'm inundated with everything out, all my other obligations throughout the day.
You got to find what works for you. What great advice. Any last advice to any others? Maybe we have some folks that are maybe just thinking, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna try to become more healthy. I'm gonna make better decisions. I'm gonna start. Any advice for them as they begin that journey?
Yes, I would say two things. The first is don't be afraid to try new things. And that has been key for me. Hadn't ridden a bike since I was a teenager. When I was in your spin class, I decided to try a spin class, which I hadn't tried before, and really enjoyed it. And then you invited everyone in the spin class to go riding bikes and do a century ride. And I raised my hand and said, "Yes, let's do it." I didn't own a bike. Hadn't biked for years, but I was in. Swimming was another thing. I hadn't swam for years. And I was literally afraid to put my face in the water and learned to swim so that I could participate in the triathlons. And now I've been able to swim a 5K event at Deer
Wow.
Creek and several triathlons. And swimming is part of my weekly routine that I really enjoy. So I think just not being afraid to try new things and learn to love them.
Great advice. I have a blog post that'll be coming up on that very topic. Thank you, Jyll. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'll say to all of you folks, if you know of anyone who's made progress along the continuum that we could talk to and visit with, please reach out to me. Let me know. Maybe it's you. And my question to you, of course, everyone, is always the same. What are you able and willing to do today? One strand, one change today. That's all it takes to start your positive movement on the health continuum and begin improving your health. Don't forget, click follow below and please click like. That'll help us spread the word. Until next time, this is John Jesse with the Health Continuum. Enjoy and have a happy and healthy day.